Ah!
What's up?
What's going on, Katie Day?
What is up?
We
Hey,
gotta
guys.
we gotta let everyone know though. We actually had to do this twice because we just did it, and Katie didn't hit the live button.
Hey guys, what's going on? Katie Day with the Moving to Texas team down here in Houston, Texas, joined by my good friend Stephen Kim Holmes out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Really excited for today and our guest today. And we normally say this is a 30-minute podcast. I could see this going for 30 hours just because even in the short time we were talking before we hit live, we were already unpacking a lot of info and just really having a good time. So excited for today's guest with a background in creative advertising and marketing. He is an industry thought leader when it comes to utilizing the power of video and social media. His team strives to create content that engages their community and raises the bar in the real estate world. Licensed since 2012, he's a top real estate agent in his province. Hint,
yeah.
And has won multiple awards with his brokerage. I'm not really sure when I first saw him online, but when I did, I was hooked by like his content mix, really cool like graphics on top of houses, and really just the combo of like family life, real estate life, properties, and then really high quality videos. I was like, I want to be able to walk and talk like him. I can't walk and talk, right? So it's been really cool over the years to see how his content mix has changed and improved and all the fun stuff that he does. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Social Savvy, Jesse Peters.
Jesse Peters. Woo! I gotta add one thing here because Jesse, you and I were connected through BombBomb. And so I do want to add in there that Jesse Peters is an award-winning video guru and has won multiple awards through the BombBomb platform and has spoken on stage to thousands of people. So I got to add that in as well.
So that is probably where I first discovered you, Jesse. And yes, your BombBomb and your videos and all of the things are just so top notch. So,
inspirational.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Sure. I feel like I'm creating a second dimple in my cheek here. I'm like, oh, this is so flattering. Oh, this guy.
So polite. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for making the time to be with us here to share your infinite wisdom. It's really just a conversation amongst a bunch of crazy realtors. So, Jesse,
hey, I need to pause here for a second. It is rare that I am on a podcast where the Canadians outnumber the Americans.
Hey,
no doubt about it.
No doubt about it, eh?
I'm just going to leave
the guy
you guys.
With the beard, wearing red, got my city in the background. I'm surprised you guys got no backgrounds. You guys are little video gurus yourselves.
Like, you know what, Jesse?
I was in his office right now. What's going on here?
I was totally expecting for you to be in your Jets jersey, but I get it. Look, I got nothing to say. I'm from Toronto. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm just saying.
Hey, man, our Stanley Cup was us beating the Oilers. I really think that's
That's amazing. So, Jesse, for the very few people who don't know who you are, share with us a little bit about your journey, like, pre-real estate, go back as far as you want to go back, but just kind of share a little bit of your background story with us. As far back as you want to go.
I think when I was first asked what I want to be when I grew up, we get that question in kindergarten because my son is filling it out now, and he filled out, what do you want to be when you grow up? And really interestingly enough, he put YouTuber. So so it got me thinking about that the other day. I was like, it's funny you asked that, teacher Stephen, that question, because I put that I wanted to be a clown in the circus. And
here we are.
Like, get me to circus school, and it's really interesting. Like, I love magic. I do make balloon animals and all that goodness. Right?
Wow.
Never paid for it, by the way. So I've never been paid. Okay. But yeah, a little bit about myself. I'm turning 42 coming up this August.
Nice. Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Getting there. And breathe collectively. And so I've been a realtor for 9 years right now, coming up on 10. And prior to that, schools, always involved in councils, volunteering. hockey player, athlete sort of mind. And what's really interesting, if I had to do it all over again, I may have gone a different route, because anytime there was tryouts and camps and seasons, right, taking place, they always overlapped with like theater, right? I can never do theater tryouts and musicals and hockey at the same time.
Yeah.
And now that schools have improv programs and all that jazz, I would probably find a way to make that work. And so I feel like everything I do right now tied into business is filling that void. Right?
It shows.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you know what? Always involved, school president, hockey, all that jazz. Into my 20s, I coach youth. A few are in the NHL and currently still playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Nice.
Just like to sprinkle that
Just
out.
gonna add that in there.
Little plug.
You can name drop if you want.
Yeah, Mark Stone, captain of the Vegas Knights.
Nice.
I'd like to say I taught him everything he knew, but I'm far from it. And but I was in the service industry for 6-7 years. Server, bartender, worked at about a dozen restaurants. And the thing that I loved about that, was you always get to meet new people. I was able to work on my shtick, my improv, working, entertaining, hustling to get those tips, and also working in a team environment. From there, I went into working sports and entertainment for a local hockey team, and then and so you begin kind of, how do you market these packages together to sell and all that jazz. And then I got into print and digital advertising with Yellow Pages, and I kind of killed it there for 4 years, and just kind of learning approaches on how to help businesses be seen and showcased, right, in front of the most applicable audience. And then, like, okay, if you're a florist, you're going to be under the flower section, but where else do you need to be top of mind, right? Weddings, events. So taking that kind of overview and now layering that into real estate.
Wow.
Yes, your home needs to be on the MLS, but we need to be top of mind on what social avenues and how are we going to tell the story besides just a for sale sign. And so everything I learned in my 20s and early 30s really kind of curated together to give me a strong understanding of what needed to happen and how I wanted to do real estate business. And so it's been a great fit. And what's interesting, I went to an independent boutique to interview for their social media manager job. And after 2.5 hours sitting in front of their broker owners, I think it was 3 at the time, they said, "We really think you should be a realtor." and I was like, "Oh, why? Are you kidding me? I'm about to have a baby. I don't know what's going on. I'm not a generational realtor." And sure enough, they said, "You can study with us. You can job shadow all the way through to get your license." And then my first week license, I sold 3 homes and boom, kind of went running. And so I was there.
What a great week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Cool. That's like
a baby coming and being like, okay, so how does this time period work out? And then about a year of getting my feet wet there and understanding the ins and outs, and still to this day understanding the ins and outs, just beginning to like open up the creativity on how to market homes now, as I was beginning to be trusted to sell the home, right? And that's kind of getting into where we are today. That's the background.
That's crazy. That's crazy, Jesse. I want to just highlight that your first week of being licensed, you did 3 transactions. So for all the realtors listening in Canada, Toronto being such a big metropolis of a catch realtors, the average realtor in Toronto does 1 to 2 deals a year. A year. You did 3 in your first week. How? Everyone who's listening is going to say how.
Conversations with people, working open houses. The great thing was that I had established relationships with the agents in-house because I wanted to learn how to do this. I didn't sit in some cubby away, right? I came in, I followed people around. And so it's like, hey, Jesse, I can't make this, help them, right? And having the background in sales and the comfort, to ask the questions, to get people to put pen to paper, granted, probably a little different market at the time, but still just being comfortable. And they didn't know that I was new. The buyers didn't know I was new.
Yeah.
Right? Because they knew the gig. You knew the gig beyond the textbook. And I would say if you were able to get with a brokerage that allows you to study and then job shadow and be a part of, I was part of their weekly meetings. I was there. I was seeing what was going on, right? And I really think that helped me earn trust with my colleagues and also get a little bit more familiar, so I didn't sound so robotic right out of the gate. And that's I was nervous as heck. Like, I remember being like, this person hasn't responded by this deadline. We're screwed. And my broker's like, it's okay, Jesse. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Breathe. You're okay. You're good. You're good. So fast forward a few years into the industry, you're really known as someone who, it's not that you know video, you just understand video and marketing so well, just at a completely different level. At what point in your real estate career did it kind of dawn on you to be like, you know what, I can really take my love for video, digital marketing, you know, your desire for theater, and amalgamate everything into a beautiful product where people want that? I want that experience with Jesse Peters.
Well, it started off as a, what can I do different as someone new in the industry that's going to separate myself from my market was, when I came in at the time, probably the average agent had 20 years under their belt. Yeah. Billboards, bus benches, flyers, you know, neighboring hundreds of thousands of flyers. I couldn't do any of that, right? Or I could, I guess, but I wasn't. It's not the budget for me, but I also wanted to do something that was different, that not only excited me to do it, but having someone say, oh, that's different. That's storytelling. That's capturing, right? And understanding, you know, the power of a brand, and understanding that every home has an opportunity to showcase more than just room dimensions. I called up my wedding videographer, Sean, and we went to Earl's for a few pints. And I said, I got an idea, Sean. And let me float it by you. So here's kind of this is how it all started. I'm like, I want to take HGTV, okay, combine it with MTV Cribs, and I want to be the host, like Guy Fieri, right? And that was the vision. Yeah, that was the vision. And he slammed his beer. I had really no idea what I'm talking about. He was like, let's do it, right? And that was the idea of allowing me to sell through video, right? To be like, hey, have you thought about how this room can be used for this lifestyle? Check out the view here. Let me sell you through it while I have 4 minutes of your attention.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody was doing that. So the fact that nobody was doing that here in my market, it could have been a piece of shit. But because no one was doing it, it's the next best thing since sliced bread, right? and like, you're advertising your client's home, and you're in the video, so there's marketing built into advertising, and away you go. You get to see my excitement. You get to see what's going on, and that was kind of like what's in there, and it just started to roll. And then kind of like, okay, we got this video. Where do we put it? Right? So YouTube, and then your Facebook, and then the whole different world of the, you know, sharing strategies, and like, I used to get organic, and I say used to because the world's not this way anymore, but like 7,000 organic views in like 3 days, right? With 28 shares, and that's better. That was better than any flyer was doing, right? Yeah. And so it really kind of, and it made it fun for people to be like, ooh, how's Jesse going to do my home, right? And 8 years later, we're still doing it, right? And it's been fun to kind of blaze a bit of a path for that, and see others now put their personalities and visions. And the great thing, and Katie, you know this, when you begin to talk and share and conference and all that world, like, I think collectively we're trying to raise the bar in our industry, right? Yeah. Because everyone has a different vibe, right? And if we could all do that, we're helping everybody. And so that's really the idea here. And you know, then 5 years ago, myself and my amazing friend and colleague, Michael Thorne, out of Vancouver, BC, we were put together to teach video boot camps to other agents, which I've been able to do around the world, and build and nurture these relationships. Stephen, we were together at one with RLP Signature, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So that you were still a teacher then. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't tell.
It was a sick day.
Oh, pardon me. Like, yeah, like I think we were doing it on a weekend, or it was in the evening.
Yeah.
It was a holiday. It was the holidays. Yeah,
I think it was
holidays.
Christmas Eve or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Jesse, I love.
It might have been a different Steven. Sorry.
Yeah, other Stephen Kim.
Steven with a PHEN.
Yeah, another middle-aged balding Korean Stephen Kim. Yeah. Oh, I remember him. There's tons of them.
Dime a dozen. Jesse, I really liked what you said, the HGTV, MTV Cribs, and then Guy Fieri. Like that's, and I feel like that is what you get with your videos. And I love watching them. My question for you would be, after you said like 8 years of doing this, right? Like, where do you come up with the ideas, right? You do these epic videos. How do you continue to come up with original content for different videos?
It's pretty interesting because we've done hundreds of them, right?
Yeah.
And I watch what's going on out there, right? You look for different areas of inspiration, what other realtors are doing, what people outside the industry are doing. I remember saying, oh, pop-up video. Oh, that'd be neat to do a pop-up video. Boom, and how do we put our twist on it? But the cool thing here is that I've got an incredible relationship with my videographer. We've been together since day one, right? And he's very creative as well. And how do we execute this together where I've got an idea? Can you do this? Now, Katie, I don't script. A lot of it is like, oh, it'll kind of permeate overnight. I know what I got to do the next day, and then it's showtime, right? But there's been a few big projects where it's like, okay, a few days in advance. But usually we're pretty quick thinking on our feet. And English theater, major, minor, university, right? Like improv, like
words come to me.
They do. Put kind of loud or kind of abruptly sometimes, but they do. And it's taken 8 years to figure that out, right? I would say I use the Guy Fieri vibe, something to inspire myself, not copy, right? And I think the more you do these, the more creative you get, but also understand what works. And how do you not get tired of it? Well, trust me, there are times where you're like, how many 2-bedroom condos can I put like a little twist on? But what motivates me more is that video might be the only person that might be the only time they get that video for that property. And so it's a special moment for them. And that's what fuels it for me. That's kind of like, we're going to hit this out of the park, make it unique. That's the push. Like an ice cream's an ice cream, but you want to know what's even cooler? Sprinkles and a cherry. So how do we add the sprinkles in the cherry?
Rainbow sprinkles or chocolate sprinkles?
Yeah, I just thought of that. That's not even scripted either.
Jesse, you just highlighted something that's really, really powerful for all those on the fence who are like, everyone talks about doing video until they're blue in the face. You just said something really, really powerful that I feel hopefully will get people off the fence, is that by doing more video, you become more creative. Mm-hmm. So I'll say that again, by doing more video, and I think we can all agree to this because we all do video, the more you do, the more creative you become. But I find that to be one of the things that stalls people from even starting to me. Like, I just don't even know where I'm going. And once I start, like, how do I keep going? You just walk through properties, talk about them, then the creativity kicks in, and then you get inspiration for the next video and the next video and the next video. So I think you're bang on that. And that's really awesome that you shared that.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of these things, like, I'd always say you'd be able to do this without the camera, like you're walking clients through the house. So it's the same thing, right? You got to try to separate yourself from the camera is the key, right? Who are you talking to? Who's the audience that you're talking to? And let that roll out, and that's what makes these videos different than your typical B-roll, flashy lights, bam, 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 like coming soon to a theater near you. And all of them have that purpose. They all are there, right? Like we've all done them, right? And they're exciting, but there's more there when you're able to. It also helps you build trust differently. I think a great way to start doing videos like that is creating it for your stories, right? Whether it's Facebook stories, YouTube stories, Instagram stories, Snapchat, right? It's you to an audience on a device that you're probably already comfortable with. But if you are every property, in my opinion, should have a video for it. Hire a videographer for that world, but yeah, relay with them what's in your head. And again, the more you do it, the more you begin to trust yourself.
I think that's great advice, though. Someone just starting off with a video. I've never heard anyone say that, being like, you're already familiar with this device. Just start going, right? Like, I think that's the big thing. Now, you talked about a videographer. Like, every listing that you've done has always been with your videographer. Is there ever a point in real estate where you could get by just using your phone? Do you believe, and this is purely an opinion, do you feel like I could ever get by just filming something with just my phone?
I don't want to get by, man.
Nice.
I'm top 1%, not by getting by.
Okay.
Right? The thing here is, for me, and my thoughts are, I'm hired to do an A+ job. I have the tools and the people to execute that, so I do that. If he was sick or shit hit the fan, I could do it 100%.
Okay.
Not to that level, right? But there are things that I do, right? I do coming soons, I do reels, I do some other things with this device that kind of, as we all are now, breaking it all up into 100 different ways to show a home. But it's worth every penny to have a solid videographer to help you execute what's in your brain to help your clients.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Awesome. Sorry, Katie. I think I interrupted you mid-question.
You've never interrupted me before, so I'll let it happen this one time, Stephen.
So Jesse, let's get back.
I want to take it in a different direction. So I know, Mr. Social Savvy, obviously you talk a lot about social media. You talk a ton about video, but you have a team, right? When did you form your team? And what would you say? Let's just start. When did you form your team?
Well, we're coming up on 4 years ago with myself and Addison. Addison joining the team. I've always had an assistant, like an unlicensed assistant, but about officially 4 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
What does your team look like now?
Now, currently.
Yeah. Drum roll, please.
Yeah. I'm not going to wow you with 20 people or anything. It's actually, it's Addison and I and our assistant, and that's kind of where we're at with life. And, I think there's opportunities there. But we're good right now. Right? Like, I do think there's a time and a place to add and, fill that starting lineup with people that fit your core values, that bring different things in. And, I've had a couple other members on the team over the last 24 months. And as we know, 24 months, it's all different directions, right? So it's a solid squad right now, the duo, I would say. And we are a very good balance of covering for each other, bouncing ideas off each other. Addison's about 10 years younger than me. So there's a little bit of a different, one should say, availability for him. And we have awesome people in the back helping us, create the finishing touches. And it's kind of where we're at right now. Do I see growth for the squad, the Social Savvy squad? Yes, I do. Yeah. All right. And it's kind of where we're at right now with the team, Katie. That answer your question?
Yeah. Steve, what do you got?
So what's that? Sorry?
I said, what do you have, Steve?
Okay. My question is, being at the top of your game, having such a strong, having such a good stake or stronghold in the market, what do you look for? What do you look for? So let's say the agent's listening to this right now and be like, I'd love to work with someone like Jesse. Like, what are the defining qualities, Jesse, that you look for when looking to bring on an agent?
Defining qualities, I think it's kind of how you're wired, right? There's a couple of big things on understanding that you need to be adaptability, inclusive, heart, a strong understanding of psychology. No.
Not untrue.
Check.
Right. And it kind of ties into the culture, right? Inclusivity, heart, positivity, and always moving forward, putting our clients' wants and needs first, and everything else falls in place, right? You're coming to join our team not because I'm going to give you 10,000 leads or whatever. Like, I don't do that. It's not how I do that. You want to be part of a family and a culture that supports each other, encourages each other, shares, and then wears the same uniform on how this team is going to work in this league, right? And that's kind of and along the ways, you want to be part of the squad, right? Like, there's some things here. You're excited about the opportunities to learn more about video, to learn more about social. Addison's strengths are in, you want to learn about investing and development and income properties. You've got these pillars in place to sponge from so that you can then grow, right? Addison and I aren't cookie cutter the same. We have the same core values, but our interests and our strengths are in other areas, right? But ultimately still helping, giving, leading. I think that's how you build it's a great way to build a team. And for someone who's coached for 14 years, you got first line, you got fourth line, you've got depth, you've got goal, like all I say in hockey, right? But pick your sport, and I think the analogies are there, right? I don't know football that well. Baseball, I'm not. Basketball, maybe the closest thing. Maybe soccer, I don't know. But yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, do you see yourself being the team lead now? Do you see yourself always trading in real estate until like you're 100 years old, or at some point will you say, you know what, I'm done. I'm now going to go walk off into the sunset and I'm going to pursue my acting career, my theater career. Right?
And I get to pursue my acting career. No, pardon me. I get to pursue my theater, because what I'm putting out here is not acting, right? Like, I'm not like, this is me, right? Being in front of a camera, putting that out there. No, I don't ever see myself, getting out of real estate. I truly love a house is a house, right? Like, we know that, right? A product is a product. I've realized over the 10 years that my cup gets filled by helping other people in major life moments. I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Right? It's negotiating, but it's also counseling and guiding, right? Like, there's major life moments. What are they? First-time home buyer, moving in with someone, babies, death, divorce, right? Being leaned on to help guide people through my expertise in my job. My love is to help and guide people, and I've done it all areas of my life. I don't think I will ever give that up, right? Do I see myself growing out of this? Yeah, a player becomes a coach becomes a GM, right? Like, and in our industry, there's so many avenues that are continuing to grow and change within our brands, within our brokerages, within the landscape. With, like, you just looked at what's happened in the last 3 years, right? It's banana lands. Right, but it's definitely. But this career allows me a lot of different opportunities to help people, but also to create a unique life for my family and children.
Yeah, so that's great, Jesse. What do you see as one of the disruptors coming into the industry? So I know our marketplace, Canada, is a little bit. I'm going to say is a little bit more sheltered than the American market. But being yeah, exactly, right? Very, very tame. What would you say in our market, or I would say, because you travel, you speak all over the world, what would you say would be something we should keep our eye on, like a disruptor? Like, for instance, I know in the US years ago, Zillow. It was Zillow. Like, everything was Zillow, the major disruptor. Do you see anything like that coming in our industry?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
this is where you stroke your beard, Jesse. I do. when I was a wee little.
You know what? I definitely think we're going to see some major changes. I don't want to say major changes. I think we're already seeing things happen now where the boomer generation, we're now into the millennial generation, right? And the millennial generation is now the biggest generation out of everybody, right? So really, like, we've had 5-6 years of working with the millennials as they get into home ownership. And I think the push is even going to come even more, and how we need to change. I shouldn't say change, adapt how we do business to serve the largest generation next, right? And there's going to be changing of the guards. There's going to be changing the way of thinking from top down, bottom up, right? And you need to be able to do that. How they consume information, how we consume information, what's important to them. I think that's happening. I think we're going to see a stronger push in that, and I think, in my humble double office opinion here, that
as I stroke my awards.
Yeah, what awards? My local artistry is, I think, like, the market's not going to balance out anytime soon the way I think people will, regardless of interest rate changes or anything, because of we're 100x buyers now.
Yeah.
Inventory is almost the same as it was 2 years ago in a balanced market, at least for us, right? We've just got this bottleneck now, and I don't think the bottleneck's changing. I just think you've got boomer parents that are now giving millennials money as they cash out. Boom, like, so that market's changing. From another angle of real estate side of it is, I think here, another sports analogy. Okay.
I love it. Is it a hockey analogy though?
Let's just call it any sport. What's your sport, Katie?
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Katie? Let's work together. What's your sport, Katie?
It's fine. You can do a hockey analogy.
No. Try me.
Basketball, football.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know.
Let's go back to hockey.
So there's the let's call it the New York Knicks. Okay. They've been around forever. Oh no, let's do this, Katie. What's your team? The Rockets?
The Rockets.
Probably not.
Sure, it's not, but that's fine.
No, that's why I'm like, what's your team? Let me learn more about you, Katie.
I'm not in the hot seat today. So I actually don't have an NBA team. I always liked the Lakers back in like the Kobe days. So we can say Lakers.
Okay, perfect. Let's start with Lakers, right? Okay. Lakers have been around forever. Championship teams, right? We are all in a league together. So compare your Lakers franchise to a dominant traditional brokerage. Okay. That has been leader winning for years. Guess what? There's some expansion teams coming in, right?
Oh.
You know, the Seattle Supersonics are coming back, right? Like, they were here. This model that worked. They're coming back, right? I'll even say it this way. I'm going to go back to hockey. Okay, Katie.
All good.
So,
I'll take a nap for a while.
Okay, so you got the Leafs, right? And now there's expansion team, the Vegas Golden Knights. They've been around for a few years. Now they're like been to almost the Cup Finals. 2 of the last 4 years. There's an audience. They're sold out. There's these different things. So I can see some form of hybrid doing jobs-ish, especially if we've been in this pandemic for a long time. I think you're going to start seeing more hybrid models come to our country.
I'm just trying to learn over here, guys. Just trying to learn.
I'm looking for a Winnipeg Jet. No one on there. Shoot.
What did you put in? Oh, you just put in hockey.
I just typed in hockey.
It's probably going to be all the Leafs.
No, there's a good mix. A lot of Whalers. Oh, we can turn that off now.
All right.
And the Bruins. And
amazing. I don't think the market's going to change. I think more people are understanding how to storytell and the value behind it. Yes. I still think there's incredible opportunities there. It's interesting. I was speaking at a conference one time, and there was a guy from my city who had a question. Big Ben Thiessen was his name. Good buddy of mine. He's like, how do I utilize video when someone else in my city is already killing it? Right? And it was like, oh, this isn't just a one and own your territory, right? We all have different audiences and connect differently. And even if we're in the same neighborhoods, we all have different points of view. So just because Jesse's doing it doesn't mean you can't do it with your point of view and spin. And I think there's more of that can happen.
That's a really sorry. Go ahead, Katie.
No, I was just saying that's super powerful, and I think people get too caught up in that they're like, oh man, this guy's in my neighborhood. We live 3 doors down from each other. I can't do this. And you all speak to different people. If you could only have one social media platform, what would it be?
Ooh.
All the others are gone.
Ooh.
Okay, can you name the social media platforms just so we clarify which ones we're talking about?
The Facebook, Instagram. It's not. No, that's what I didn't
Twitter.
fully say the word. Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok,
Twitter, TikTok,
Snapchat,
Instagram. I'd keep that one. That's the one that allows me to be most creative and to the point. And I have a incredible group of followers. Like you may think, Mr. Social Savvy, I've got 100,000 people. No, I'm just shy of 5,000. And if I look at that list, I know almost everybody there.
Yeah. There's something really cool behind that. Yeah.
Organically growing that. And I think within Instagram, you've got IGTV, you've got your posts, you've got your stories, you've got your reels. There's a lot there. Personally, Facebook still serves, but it's not it's there. I think it's more of a lead gen, pay-per-click now. Personally, if you have that system set up, I think there's incredible opportunities there. TikToks for late night scrolling for me. I do enjoy that. That does inspire my stories. For stories and reels, it has a purpose there. That's one of those inspire. Oh, I like that idea. How can I do this? I think that's cool. Snapchat, I went away from as soon as Instagram stories came out, and Twitter's my news feed. I got some other news places I can gather information from. So
nice.
I keep Instagram.
Cool. Sweet, great. All right, Mr. Peters,
because it has like 5 pillars in it, right?
Oh yeah,
that's
my favorite. The mix is great.
Mr. Peters, we're going to end off the podcast with a question that stumps everyone. It actually doesn't stump everyone. It has nothing to do with real estate, Mr. Peters. It is your last day on Earth, and we want to know what your last meal is going to be. Whether you're making it, someone's making it, or you're going to get it ordered or delivered. What is that last meal? I know it's a tough one. It
kind of is. Because I'm like, when I'm out and traveling, I'll say, and I say travel, like when I was in Europe, we'd be at different restaurants every night. And I wouldn't even look at a menu, right? I say to the server, if your best friend came in for their last meal, what would you get them?
Nice. That's awesome.
Right?
That's awesome.
Right? And like sometimes you get stuff that's not even on the menu. I don't even know what it's called, right? But so you would take that one. That's a good. So it's like, oh, I've had incredible meals that I don't even know.
Is there one that stands out to you in your travels?
Stands what?
Stands out to you in your travels.
There's a lot of food. Last day on Earth. Shit, Stephen Kim.
I love that. Like we did actually say, "Hey, this question stumps people." We're like, "No, we're just kidding." You're like, "Oh," geez.
But it does though. But some people,
it's like, I'll tell you this: like all these meals and food are associated to memories and moments for me, right? So if I'm picking the last thing, am I ranking that moment, right, to get that feeling back? Right, or something.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. Wow,
I just love that too. Hey, pretty good.
That was good.
It's just like music. Pick your favorite song. Well, what's that tied to? Because if you are selecting, if you want this music with that meal, what moment are you trying to harness? Right. There is a local pizzeria here that I do love. That is a family. My family loves it. Everyone loves it. Like, I don't know. A DJ's Ichabod's number 2, slightly well done. Number 2 is you've got a little crispy bacon, the pineapple slightly toasted. And the crust, it's a thin crust. right? That would be one of them.
All
but
right.
I've had some incredible meals that I don't even know the names of, like on the island of Majorca and in parts of Spain. So like,
So I'm just gonna go with a pizza.
yeah, right. But like,
That's awesome.
like best friend meals, right? You really
love
dive
that.
into that one. My wife rolls her eyes every time because they're like, "Honey, come on, what are you doing?" I'm like, I'm not doing it at like Boston Pizza or something like that, but you know, like you get pretty creative.
That's awesome.
You can take that one because sometimes servers, they're so used to just like, "What's your order?" Make them think, just like people make us think. How are you going to help sell my home?
I love that answer. I love that answer. Jesse Peters, for those people who don't know where to find you and the Social Savvy Squad, where do you exist on the World Wide Webs and on the social media platforms? Tell us where we go.
You could Google my name.
Okay.
It should show up. Okay. A few different versions of Jesse will show up. But socialsavvyhomes.ca is my website. But if you really want to connect and interact, follow me at Mr. Social Savvy on Instagram. That's the easiest way. You could try to like friend request me on Facebook, but I'm not going to lie. I just looked at my friend requests and there's like 997. And I'm just like, I'm not building my friends list on Facebook. So easiest way. And if you got any questions or want to learn more, hit me up on Instagram. Jesse Peters at remax.net. Easiest way. You could find me. Love sharing, chatting. Katie and Steven, thank you so much. And guess what, Katie? I've been following you for a while too. So when we were able to connect, she responded to me.
He sent me a message. I feel like mutual, man.
Steven, you are a gem. I love seeing kind of
awesome.
2 years ago to where you are now, and your sword, and you've got a team, my friend. Holy son of a right? Like,
yeah, someone's drinking the Kool-Aid over here. I don't know why, but
hey man, everybody's got a flavor. Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Okay, guys.
Well, Jesse, thank you so much for all of your time, your infinite wisdom, and just speaking your truth. I know that so many people who are watching and listening to this have pulled away so many amazing nuggets. Hopefully, they're going to start to implement and execute on all of the great stuff that you have shared today.
Hey, Steven, how about that?
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I hope you you quote me on your Monday mantra, okay?
I'm going to. I am going to. I'm going to grow a fake beard, and I'm going to absolutely do that.
You wouldn't believe it. Channeling my inner.
But thank you again, Mr. Social Savvy. You are awesome, and much success for many, many years to come.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.